It's turbo time. Turbo-tastic. We are speed and professionals in aeromatic. Alright, today's video, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Obviously you can see in the title, we made it into Sick Summer 2023. Now these events are hosted by Sick the Mag. As you guys can remember, I did Sick Week in Florida. Sick Summer is in Cordova Dragway, Byron Dragway, Great Lakes Dragway, and Tri-State Dragway. And those are all like 500 miles away from me, which in my opinion, I think that that's like the closest drag and drive event that I could ever ask for or have, unless I hosted one myself. Let the people that are good at it do what they do, and then I'll just enjoy going to these events. So I took a shot, shared my interest. They had an interest form that you could fill out, and they sent me an email for an early registration this Saturday, this past Saturday at 9 a.m. Hopped on there, went as fast as I could, and we got in. So we did get in to Sick Summer 2023. It starts June 4th through the 9th. Now, I was up in the air. I was like, well, I haven't taken the convertible apart yet. I could always just, you know, freshen up the engine, do what I'm doing to this car, and just throw it in the convertible and at least have something going. Or make a list of what I need to complete the coupe and not just put this off in the corner and forget about it, but figure out what I need, and can I even do this in 6 months' time to have this car ready, tested, street driving, and race worthy to go to a drag and drive event. A lot of the parts that I have, I really just need to see what's there. So on this video, we're gonna mock up the engine, turbo, just a couple of things up front, and you guys will be able to see that later on in the video. So if you want to fast forward and just get to that, you're more than welcome to. But otherwise, let's go over the list of the stuff that I have and the stuff that I need. These are things that are kind of up in the air. So the roll cage, I know I want to do chrome ollie, but do we want to do an 850 cage or a 750 cage? Those were like one of the things where on a convertible, I could go 850 and I could always switch it to a 750 later on. Whereas a coupe, it's a lot harder to change that to a 750 cert and do the whole, not the drag hoop that goes around the driver and all that. Once you kind of do an 850 cage, you're kind of stuck with it because everything's already mounted together. Whereas a 750, and you have to have that containment for the driver and all that. That's where we want to go with this car at some point, is go faster than 850. So to just try to get this, you know, done real quick and throw an 850 cage in there, because I'm pretty sure at this drag and drive event in Sick Summer, we're not going to go faster than 850s anyway. So I would be totally legal to do that. But future, we don't want to have to redo the entire cage all over again just to make this one event. So really trying to push to be able to do a 750 cert cage in this car before this event. It's probably not going to need it, but at least we have it. ECU wise, we're going to stick with the Heltec Elite 2500. I'll just pull it out of the convertible. With that, I also have my CDI ignition. That's way overkill for just a regular street car that the convertible is now going to be, is just a street car. Does not need the M&W drag CDI boxes that are in there. So I'll pull all that out for the electronics that are needed for that. And then the other part is to make this car street legal. So we got to get the blinkers going. I mean, all this stuff is still wired in the car, and I didn't pull any of that out. So we should have blinkers, lights, horn, all that stuff should still work in this car to make it street legal. And then obviously we have to license and insure it, which shouldn't be an issue. I already have plates for it and everything, and tabs good till next year, so we're good there. I just got to put insurance on it, so that's fine. The things that I do have, and I have spares of from the convertible, as well as I'm not gonna, I guess, completely cannibalize the convertible, but I am gonna take some parts off the convertible to make this a lot faster. Instead of going through and buying things twice, if I already have it and the convertible is really not going to need it to go back to a street car anyways, I'm going to take out the drag clutch out of that car. It's a twin disc, 8.5 inch Clutch Masters drag clutch, which that thing can hold up to 1,200 horsepower. I'm going to take that out of the car. I have spare discs for it. Might as well use those and throw just a regular, standard ACT back in the convertible for like a, 500 horsepower rating. Nothing crazy. The motor, I do have everything for this motor. I'll probably end up just taking the rotors out of the convertible because they're REW balanced, everything clearanced, everything's good to go with that rotating assembly. And I can take that out of the convertible and I can always just throw in, I have the Turbo 2 rotors that are ready to go to clearance, balancing, all that stuff. I mean, I don't have to have those done. I could just use the ones that are already in the convertible that are already, proven, tested, ready to go. So I have all that. And then the only thing that I would need is the REW or the RE front and rear irons. So that's another thing. Right now, to get this speeded along, might not go build it. I don't think we can go build it. I don't think I have enough time and enough finances to push that through that fast. I don't think that there's going to be enough time to do it. Manifold wise, so the exhaust side, I have the entire turbo manifold, wastegates, everything's plumbed, ready to go. It fits, it should fit in this car just fine. We will test everything in. On this video, we're actually going to mock up a motor with everything that I have, and then the things that I need, we can kind of go through those as well. But turbo everything, I believe I have all that covered. Fuel system everything, I have that covered besides 4 injectors. All my safety stuff, so SFI compliant, we're talking the drivetrain, containment pans, the catch pans, battery hold downs, everything that I have for safety wise, parachute, helmet, driver's gear, emergency electrical shut offs, all that stuff. All of my holding tanks, everything is going to already be compliant, that I can just transfer from the convertible to the coupe because I don't use that stuff anymore with the street setup. So other than that, I'm going to need a MAC control, a boost control, or I have that. I have the MAC valve for the boost controller as well as dual Mitsumoto oil coolers, and also at Earl's thermostat, oil thermostat, alternator. I have everything that basically can make the motor so the motor's ready to run, for like the cooling system. The things I'm not going to have is like, I don't have the radiator. I'm going to figure out a way to make radiation fans, whether I'm going to mount them in the front of the car, or I might get trick and put them in the back of the car for the radiator to distribute weight, things of that nature. I've talked to a couple people, looked at a couple setups. Guys, move the radiator, use a smaller one, throw them in the back. As long as you have enough cooling system, that's fine. And we got to think, a rotary engine, yes, they make a lot of heat when you're running them under power and making a lot of boost. You can make a lot of heat if you're running them for long periods of time. If I'm just street driving this thing in 0 to 2-3 pounds of boost at times in a 90 cubic inch engine, it's really not making that much heat up front. So that's one thing I might be able to get away with, is use some nice good fans as well as a good radiator setup in the back, and just have that moved and use a different size radiator. So I don't have the radiator yet. I'm figuring that out. Other thing that I kind of need as well, for the engine, I have the rotor housings, but I just need to be semi-peripheral ported, so that needs to be done still. The front and rear cast iron, so we were talking billet plates, we were talking nodular iron plates. The one thing that I can get right now, easy, I can just make an order, click it, have them shipped at like, $650, $700 a piece, are just factory Mazda OEM REW or RE front and rear cast irons. Now, the rear has to be an automatic to be able to mate with my belt housing and transmission, make all that stuff happy, as well as I need an automatic starter for an RE or a Cosmo. And then I need a stud kit for the engine, or I could use the titanium studs that are in the convertible and just throw tension bolts back in there because I got stacks of tension bolts. So I'm considering on pulling those, but this is a fresh engine. So I would feel better by using brand new hardware on the actual studs for the engine, as well as I'd like to go with solid engine dowels. I don't make them. I know that they're out there. Just got to find out if I can get those. And then 4 injectors. So I use the FIC 2150s. So I already have 4. I need 4 more. And then I have 2 in the block that are just 1,000 cc's. And that's just kind of for like driving, that type of deal. So those 1,000 cc injectors, that I'm still going to use. And then the other 8 that I'll have in my E&J upper intake for the throttle body. So need that. Already said the starter. The other thing too is the Heltec stuff. So on the Heltec stuff, I still will have to get a new harness. So I'm going to make a new harness for this car. I'm not going to pull it out of the convertible because I want to just leave all that stuff the same. So I need a new harness, all new sensors, EGTs, the TC2 controller, the WB, the O2 controller. Like I said, the MAC valve, I can use that from my setup. I need the radiator fans, liquid to air intercooler. So that's another one. I could use the liquid to air intercooler off the convertible. And then I'd like to do a front mount, just regular air to air on the convertible, something smaller, easier to manage, and not have to run the water. So I can take all the pumps and stuff off of the convertible and use them on this car. And then I'd like to get a 5 to 7 gallon like ice box, nice water box to be able to make sure that I don't have any issues with intake temperatures, getting too hot, things like that. Definitely would help. And then I got to make a new street fuel tank, especially if I mount the radiator in the back. I'm gonna have to make a completely different fuel tank. Still going to be doing fueling from the actual fuel OEM fuel door for the street driving portion of it. And then need some new tires for the back. Right now I only have slicks, so I still have to order the 275 Mickey Thompson radials, probably the Pro Series or the Pros. And that should be it. And then obviously test the car. That's the other big thing. So this event's in June. There's a couple of testings at my local track coming up. So test as much as possible prior to this event to make sure that the car even can work. Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on now. So this build just got basically put from first gear, and then it was in second gearish. We just, you know, switched it up. Now we just powered through third and hitting fourth right now. We're basically just trying to make this one through the finish. And 6 months is not a long time to build a car. It can take, you know, a year to 2 years to go from ground up. What we're doing right now, I think the convertible took me longer than that. The nice thing that I have at my disposal is another tried and true car that all the parts that I have are basically a year old, 2 years old, and they've only had 1 drag and drive, maybe 2 drag and drives on some of the stuff for the entire time that I've had it. So I am able to cannibalize some of the parts that I need that I know that the convertible will never need again to put them on a drag and drive purpose-built car. But there are a couple things that might not get done. So paint, that's up in the air. I don't think that this car can be away from me for as long as it's going to take for paint to get done. I don't think I can sacrifice 2, 3, 4 weeks or somebody not being able to get it completed, and for financially wise, I don't think I can get it done. So paint is going to be like the bottom of the list. If it can be done, we'll try it. We'll see if we can make it work, get some timelines there, but I'm going to say that that's probably not going to be done. Some of the final touch stuff, like the interior being carpeted and things like that, might not be done. We're going to get there, try to get as close as possible. I mean, all the interior that I have, I'm going to put back in, but the stuff that I have to custom make for the car, probably not going to be able to do that. Lexan rear window, probably not going to get that done. There's certain things on this that are going to stay the way that they are, which might add character to the build too. And for it being the first time out and seeing what changes, things that might need to be changed around and adjusted. We'll see. And like I said, I'd like to have a 750 cert cage. Might only be 850. I don't know. But right now, the big thing is let's get this push done. I got hood pins that I got to put on the hood. I got motor parts that I'm going to assemble, a full mock-up engine instead of just a half engine that's in the car right now. We're going to put a turbo system on it. We're going to figure out where we can mount the fuel cell, all of this stuff. Maybe not all in this video, but you're going to see these things just, you know, rapid fire now for these videos coming out. So you guys stay tuned. Check this out. Let's get to it. Just mocking up the engine. Now, this front cover, it's used. It's a 12A front cover. It makes it so that I can actually mount the engine from the front. Basically doing a front motor plate. I'm going to do mine a little bit different so that I have my sides open on both sides for more clearance and be able to clear for my exhaust and the turbo drains, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be doing things a little bit different on this engine for how we're going to mount it. But the big thing that we're going to test on is our intake. So this is a 5-inch inlet top hat going on a E&J. This is a bully killer. So with that, it's got 4 injectors on this side and 4 injectors on this side. So a total of 8. And then we're going to run 2 down in the block. So a total of 10 injectors. With that, currently right now, this is a 3-inch Wiggins on here. I might even cut this further back and go with a 4-inch. Just debating on that right now, figuring out what options I'd like to go. I think a 4-inch is going to be optimal. 3-inch seems a little bit restrictive when you're trying to really make some, you know, big horsepower numbers on this small of a displacement of an engine. So that might get changed out to a 4-inch, but right now, for time's sake and being able to get this setup done by June, I might just keep it as is from when it was originally fabbed months ago. So now we're gonna get the turbo on here and hang that up. But you can see we have tons of room to play here. And the motor itself is behind the actual strut tower. So that's pretty cool for how this all, you know, lines up in the engine bay. Looks really good. Now, this is not going to be the final block. This is a dummy block, all used parts. None of the actual motor parts here are going to be used. All the nice, clean, good stuff, that's still yet to come. So we will get moving on the turbo kit and bolt that up. We got the Precision 8385. So this is the same turbo that came off the convertible. Changing around the inlet to be able to duct from the hood. So we'll make an induction hole here right in the hood, plate that off to reinforce it so nothing, you know, like bends on the hood or anything. It'll have a hood pin here as well, just to kind of hold everything in place. But yeah, really happy with the front end tube kit. Obviously, we've got to be able to clear everything. These are the wastegate lines. And you can see even, whoa, we'll go on this side. So even for our wastegate dumps, those are all good. So we have our wastegates, a couple of twin tiles underneath there. But yeah, everything clears really well. This turbo, I think, is going to be great for the setup to be able to run. I kind of future-proof myself to be able to run semi-peripheral one day and really let this sucker breathe. So that's all good. Some of the key features that we have on here. So we have our Motion Raceworks back pressure kit to a back pressure sensor, and then a couple of EGTs down here. So everything's looking good there. But yeah, this exhaust manifold is going to work, as well as our turbo placement, I think is going to be perfect. A couple of things that I'm trying to figure out here. You know, obviously we got to get our liquid air intercooler. Do I want to use the one that I have, since I already have it, and then maybe try to, you know, maneuver it around a little bit better than what it was in the convertible? Instead of laying it flat and all the way down, do I turn it and put it down, or, you know, give myself some more room since I have all this room? I might not even run a radiator up here. Like I said, it might be in the back, but still plenty enough room to lay a radiator across here. My oil cooler mounts are in the front, so I have Plenty of room up there still, which I'll be running the Michimotos that I already have. But yeah, so much room to play and figure it out. I mean, it's just for how far back everything is and just hanging a turbo off the front. And man, this thing is just it's gonna be a weapon. So I'm really excited with the progress that we made today. Again, sick summer, June 4th to the 9th. If you're anywhere in the Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa area, Milwaukee is going to be where one of the tracks close by, Chicago, all these little areas in the upper Midwest area, that's where I'm going to be. That's what this car is going to be there, doing what it's supposed to do, hopefully, not breaking, and making this event something spectacular for us Rotary guys. So we're going to put a stamp on it. That's it for this video. We'll check you guys in the next one. Thanks.